All right, it's a Friday, and I'm looking forward to this one. The 26th of February. Where's the month gone? I'm telling you, we're sneaking up on March. The Ides of March on Monday, and this is a very special episode. I'm going to tell you right away, you owe us money for this. This is good. You can't buy this anywhere. We're going to have a great conversation today. First of all, at Nurture, a Wellcare Marketplace, and we're catching up with Elizabeth Woodard. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, too.
That's great.
You know, you kind of, well, that's, you say it, but are you, right?
Right.
And then that's why we have the doctor
Right.
here with us.
Exactly.
Dr. Forsberg, Rachelle, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm kind of your patient.
Oh,
I don't
tell
think
me.
you know that yet.
No.
We'll get into a little bit, but
All right.
I have these conversations with Elizabeth, and I love it. We kind of go down a rabbit hole as well, and it just gets geeky and esoteric, but I think people really appreciate that because when you identify with something, you identify, and then hopefully you dig in yourself and do homework on
Yes.
what works best for you. But to begin, Nurture, where are we?
Yeah, we are Nurture. It's the Health and Wellness Marketplace.
What do you
We're
do
in Nest right now. We're in the cafe. I'm the culinary director. And yeah, we are standing in the cafe, if you mean that's where we are physically. Mentally, I mean, I am like, no.
So it's kind
In
of like
the
an a la
blender.
carte concierge, what you need. There's a lot of
It's a
practitioners
one-stop
here.
shop for your health and wellness. Our phrase is home for the whole human, and that's what we embrace. We're all about supporting somebody's healthy lifestyle. So the bottom, this floor is where we have our organic restaurant and cafe. We have our event space, organic retail, and then upstairs we have over 65 different practitioners ranging from people like Rachelle to massage therapists to chiropractors to acupuncturists. We have a salt cave and a sauna. We have an organic salon. I mean, it's really taking on what feeling good means to you.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, we always say one day it could be like coming in and having, like doing a juice cleanse, a 5-day juice cleanse. The next week, it could be coming in having, one of our natural wine selections with some kale chips, and that's health for you that day. Or you come in and see Rachelle, you get all of your blood work done, you get some acupuncture in, and you come down and have a salad, or you go for a workout. We also have a couple different fitness concepts as well. So it's a well-rounded one-stop shop experience to create a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And it's different for everybody.
Exactly.
Doctor, what do you do?
Yeah. So I am a naturopathic doctor and
What?
a licensed acupuncturist.
What is all that?
She's gold.
I know.
She's
yes.
Becca.
So naturopathic medicine is based on the premise that the body wants to be in balance. So my job with my patients is just to help their body find that realignment, find the obstacles to cure, and use the lowest force intervention possible to get there. So I'm also trained in Chinese medicine and acupuncture, so I might use acupuncture, herbal medicine, specific dietary interventions to help them achieve their health goals.
Difference between Eastern and Western medicine.
Well,
She goes like this.
yeah, it's a blend.
She does
right.
both.
Yeah, having that naturopathic side is definitely more of the Western brain, so we're still thinking in that more reductive way of analyzing labs and looking for normals. And then I love bringing in the beauty of the Eastern medicine where things are a little more metaphorical. We're looking for patterns. We talk a little bit more in that yin-yang language, so it's based on the premise of Taoism and this idea that there's no right or wrong. It's just excesses and deficiencies, and how do we find the balance?
So you go down the preventive path rather than the reactive path, though, I would assume, right?
Yes, absolutely. So most of my patients are looking for the long run. What can I do to really optimize my wellness and stay healthy for a long time? And they might have acute problems, but they want to treat the root cause. They don't want to just put a Band-Aid on it.
Do insurance companies recognize what you do?
Not as much as I would like them to, but we can work with what people have. So luckily we can still use conventional lab testing, which contracts with all major insurance providers. So, yeah.
So this is what I think is really cool is you go down, so the correlation with farming in this, and just bear with me, is that conventional farming is conventional. You have organic farming that's not conventional. It seems so back-asswards to me, right? So then you have conventional medicine and non-conventional medicine.
Right.
You would fall into the non-conventional medicine.
Yes, with those terms, exactly, right.
Absolutely.
I like to say it's medicine based on our ancient wisdom, though, and it's what kept civilizations alive for many centuries. So, yeah.
So the types of people that you treat, what are
Yeah.
what are their symptoms?
Yeah, well, it can range, pretty much anything. My training is as a primary caregiver, so some people are coming to me just because they want to stay healthy. Other folks might have digestive problems, hormone imbalance, mood issues, problems with sleep. So pretty much the whole gamut.
So health is kind of like an onion. When you get, have to start peeling back the layers.
Yes.
In order to get to where you are, and then start reconstructing again.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Okay. So, with that, you have blood work.
Yes.
What can you find with blood work
Yeah.
besides everything in the world?
Everything in
All
the
the
world.
things.
How you unravel the mystery
I
of
came to
stomach.
Rachelle myself personally because I've had a problem like with my hormones, and she did I just had to know what was going on. It had been 2 years,
panel.
more than that, and so she did a full panel of hormones and also like micronutrients, macronutrients, everything, so that I could literally have markers on where I was at and not just this guessing self-diagnosis things. And I just needed a quick fix, and I was pushing for it, which is very not my personality. But Rachelle, like being the expert that she is, was like, well, if you want this in the long term, just give me 2 months to work with you, and let's get to the root problem this way. And after 2 months, we haven't addressed the root problem, then we can circle back to all the quick fix, like patches. And I was like, okay. And then literally a week later, my health turned around. I'm not even exaggerating. That's why she's like my mecca. But I could see it. Like we could literally sit down and
Yeah.
see all of the nutritional markers, my hormones, my progesterone was like on the floor low, so I had answers
Yeah.
that she could help me.
And
she could
answers
read.
are great, right? I
my
mean,
God.
you love answers.
It's nice to see things in black and white.
Sure.
And it's also nice to track, right? Like this is where I was
Uh-huh.
as a baseline, and this is the progress that I've made. And so we can use conventional labs to do that.
Uh-huh.
Things that you look at with your primary care all the time, a complete blood count, a metabolic panel. But I'm going to look at it from that functional medicine approach, which means that I'm not just saying check the box, you're normal, but I'm looking for trends. So even if everything is falling in the normal range, are there certain categories that are shifted deficient or in excess that are showing signs of where you're headed? Again, thinking about that preventative medicine
And
approach.
so again, this is where we got started. And I love this conversation. I have to believe a lot of people love these types of conversations as well. So that baseline, when you look at LabCorp and everybody's putting themselves, all these American, I'm in that group of people. The Americans were probably some of the most unhealthy people worldwide. I mean, truly.
88% is metabolically dysfunctional.
Yeah.
88%.
And so you look at those
Alarming.
normals that LabCorp will show you.
Yeah.
I'm having to assume that you want your patients on the higher end of the normal spectrum.
Exactly, right. When high is to their benefit, absolutely. But overall, I'm being very picky. So my patients know, like, I'm going to put my glasses on and have that very picky, your liver enzymes could be like a touch lower, even though your PCP says they're totally fine and normal. I'm just looking at it, with that more of a stickler opinion of.
And how do you find that right range of optimization? And that's really your work to
Nuance.
unravel the mystery. And everybody's different. And so when you take your blood work, and that's why I say get it done early and often, because you will change. And you'll change throughout the
100%.
seasons, and you'll change with your mental state and your mood, and that will drive your body as well. So that's why we're actually here today. It's cleanse time. I used to do this with the seasons. I really did. I mean, I was so good about doing a cleanse. Now when you hear cleanse, there's all different types of cleanses, right? I mean, there's hardcore water cleanses, there's juice cleanses, but you have a cleanse that you're initiating here at Nurture that we want to talk about.
Yes.
Can you take it from there? Well, actually, let's take a break. There we go. I felt Jay Parker in the back of my mind. All right, this is an exciting one. Nurture, a Wellcare Marketplace. What's the address?
2949 Federal Boulevard.
Basically, Spear and Federal.
Spear and Federal. We are in between Walgreens and the church.
I think Kelly Campbell may make an appearance. We also have possibly Dr. Osborne.
Yes, Amy might join us a little later. She had a last-minute patient, and Melissa of Moss North Therapy talking about massage and detox as well.
Dr. Rachelle Forsberg here with us as well. We'll take a break. We'll come right back to Nurture. Appreciate you being here with us on a Friday. We'll be back in a flash. The Modern Eater Show continues.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? This is Brother Luck from Lucky Dumpling, 4x Brother Luck in Colorado Springs, and I am rocking with the Modern Eater. You're watching them, you're tasting them, you're knowing everything there is to know about Colorado.
Hi, Charlie from Brews Beers here. Our new Belgian Abbey 4-pack is a mixed package of the 4 core beers made in Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So we have a single, a double, a triple, and a quadruple in one package. Now, quadruples are the emperors of Belgian monastery ales. They're dark in color, with a dense tan head and alcohol ranging from 8 to 12%, so they're pretty strong. Quadruples are very rich and complex with big maltiness, spice, and flavors of raisins, cherries, and plums. Alcohol is apparent in the mouthfeel, but not overwhelming, even at 10.5% ABV. So the finish is long, complex, and dry, and they're great beers anytime, by themselves or with hearty foods. Pick up your Abbey 4-pack at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos, or at Colfax in York, and at fine liquor stores throughout the Denver metro area. Take home some Belgian-style badassery today.
You're watching The Modern Eater, and now back to the
I look
show.
at them and I'm like,
Okay, what's popping on a Friday? This is a great one. Nurture a Wellcare Marketplace. Greg Holland back here with Jay Parker doing a great job. Elizabeth, our friend. I was going to say old friend, but there's
Absolutely.
nothing old about you.
I hope not.
At all.
Except for my bone.
And Dr. Rachelle Forsberg here with us as well. Get back to this in a minute. We're going to talk about a cleanse, but I have to tell you about Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Places are opening up right now, and tap lines are very important because you want that delicious craft beer, or kombucha, or water, or wine to taste exactly the way that that producer intended it to taste. If you have those murky lines, or it's just, Jay,
Sir.
you've seen those places where you go and they pour foam into a pitcher, and then they
I've worked at
push
those
it
places.
off, and then they pour it into another cup, and then they serve it to you, expecting you to be happy. Are you happy when that happens, Jay?
I'm happy to give them the foam because that's fun for me, but no, man,
No.
foam is money, Greg.
Foam is money. If you're pouring inefficient beer, Jay, what are you doing?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Don't pour your money down the drain. He's the best in the business. His name is Jeff Rourke. He's a family man, 20 years in the business, family owned and operated. I admire the guy. He's so well respected. He's a star at what he does. So if you need a build out, he can do it. If you need maintenance, he can do that as well. Just give him a call, 720-272-3809. Well, that was too fast, right?
Yeah, you might want to say that again.
720-272-3809. That's Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Back to the show. Okay, guys. Had to get that out of the way.
I do feel a little bit like a news anchor. We have some clouds coming now.
That's
Anyways.
What do we have here?
So what we have here is Nurture's Cleanse. We launched it January 1st.
Did you really?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, cleanse. Let's just go with the basic thing, and I'm glad, Doc, you're sticking around because then you can keep me in order. Like, that's not right. Okay.
I will.
First of all, a cleanse. What is really a cleanse supposed to be, or a fast? Because think about
Well, there's a bit of a
root word
difference.
of fast, right? Okay.
For sure. There's a bit of a difference when you're fasting and you mentioned a water fast. Your body kind of, and you can jump in at any time, your body will go more into starvation mode. So it's like the strongest survive. It's shutting down old systems because it only has enough energy to run the most efficient, and it's giving all of its energy to what you need to survive.
Now, why would you do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a weird thing. Oh, wait. Okay. So because the refeeding, the refeeding process is when you start building up new systems. It reboots your metabolism. It reboots your blood flow. All of your
Doctor,
endocrine
is that
system.
true? Is that going to give your hypothalamus a rest? Are you going to be able to reset certain things? Are you going to be able to give your digestive system a break? Is there a method to that madness at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that if the cells are in repair mode, they can't be in feeding mode at the same time. So when we give intentional breaks, it gives the cells a time to actually rebuild and repair tissues that have been damaged and actually get new cell growth. So that's when our growth factors get activated. We can see stem cell activation and actual repair and new growth of tissue. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then cleansing is more of, because you're still triggering your metabolic system, things are still working, but on such a low scale that you are able to still repair a bit, but it's more of taking the work off of your digestive system. It's kind of how humans went from mid-tier in the food chain to top of the food chain. because when we were on mid-tier, your brain takes the most amount of energy, and so does your digestive system. When fire was introduced into the diet and we were able to pre-digest all this food that was taking so much work on the digestive system to break down, more energy was shifted to the brain. And so humans kind of went here on the smart level to here. And so that's the same with the cleanse. We are taking the energy away out of the digestive system, giving it a break, and putting the energy back into the rest of the body so that it can be more efficient. It can detoxify. Your brain has more power. I know a lot of people get a little bit lethargic as well, because there is an element where your body and your psyche will try to fight to keep you at the same weight because it's trying to keep you alive.
Sure.
And if you switch something, it's like, well, wait a second. We've never done that before.
Right.
We are not getting in calories. We're dying. We're going to fight you and make you angry and hangry until you get food kind of thing. You can probably speak to this more on a cellular level.
But as a species, we were built as hunter-gatherers, right? We didn't have 3 meals a day ready for us, just at our disposal that you didn't even have to work for at all. I mean,
and seasonal eaters, too.
So how the body works and just the blood in general, so where the free fatty acids build up in your blood and they can't be released because of your diet and insulin spikes, then you're going to be storing fat, right? So a lot of people want to do that reset, but how do you do it safely so that you have the fiber involved in your juicing and you're not having an insulin spike to where you're actually being counterproductive in what you're doing? Because you can have unsafe cleanses as well, I would assume.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call them unsafe. I would just say they're, like you were saying, they're kind of counterproductive. Exactly, inefficient. Which is why we decided to balance out the juices. So we partnered with Lacuna Juices, and we have one that's all veggie, and then one that has beets and orange and lemon. And the orange pectin is really to feed your gut bacteria, namely Enchromantia. And you start each cleanse with the onyx, which is charcoal and lemon and ginger and honey, because the charcoal will pull out all the toxins that you've accumulated from the night before and help you have like the first flush. We've rounded it out with more substantial meals, if you will, with smoothies. So they're a little thicker in texture, so your brain gets satisfied. They have a little bit of healthy fat in them, again, so that your brain gets that satisfaction. And then we have the sipping broth you can either choose organic bone broth, which has the collagen in it, or our umami broth for people who are plant-forward, plant-based, and that has like more of the medicinal herbs and roots in it. Again, it's giving your body the break, but it's also giving you the exact tools that we believe it needs to help detoxify, help repair, build out, cells and organs and flow. And I was going to say something brilliant, and it just went right over my head. Clearly, I need to talk.
While you go grab that, I'm going to tell you, you can join us and do this. March 1st, this is when we're going to start out.
Yeah, you can join anytime.
You can anytime. You can do it along with us, so you can join. But these are the experts that are going to put this together for you. And again, when I want to jump back to unpeeling that onion, we're deconstructing your diet, really, at this point in time. And then there's probably going to be another phase of this to re-add to it. But as we're peeling back the onion and we're beginning down this, what is the regimen? How do you get into this? Because I would have to imagine a lot of people, first of all, like me, I probably need to repair my gut. And you're beginning with a lot of regenerative or repairing that broth. We'll start with that. So.
Yeah, well, the broth is actually what you end on. And yes. What I got out of it when I did the 7-day cleanse was your body, because of the diet that most people believe. Yeah, this is detox.
God, it's so good.
I know. Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Salud. Where was I? Oh, yes. What I learned from this cleanse is you need a lot less than you think you do.
Okay.
As far as food, I think we all, even people who are healthy, generally overeat. And so that's what I got out of this. I got out of the eating lighter dinners. Because you end each day with the broth. So you can do this for 1 day. You can do it for 3 days. You can do it for 5. We're going for 7.
Okay.
I think we've had a girl now sign up 4 times for our 7-day cleanse. We've had a lot of people who sign up for the 3-day cleanses extend it because they just were able to do so well on it. You start every morning, I say, with a glass of lemon water, and then onyx is the first thing. And then you'll have a smoothie mid-morning. And then for lunch, you get a pure veggie soup. And then in the afternoon, we mix it up you get a full schedule, so you know exactly what to do. And there on the Nurture website, there's all the who, what, whys of the cleanse, so you know exactly what you're getting, exactly why, and most of general questions are answered there. And during the afternoon, you switch it up between these two. You get both of them in the afternoon, just which comes first differs on each day, and then you end each night with broth of choice. And then it starts again the next morning.
Do you pick them up daily?
So if it's a 1-day cleanse, you pick it up once. If it's a 3-day cleanse, you also pick it up once. If it's 5 to 7, it's broken up into 2 pickups. We also deliver if you're in the radius that Nurture states.
What?
Yes.
Why do you feel so mentally clean and the clarity when you take foods out of your diet just altogether? Why is that happening? Why does your body respond so well to this when you wouldn't think that it would?
Yeah. I mean, I think there can be a phase where people feel a little bit, as Beth was saying, fatigued, lethargic, in the brain fog initially, and then that starts to clear. And I think on a biochemical level, we're learning more about this idea of fuel switching and the brain really operating off of more of that ketosis. And I think that is happening the longer we go into these type of cleanses. So that's probably a piece of it. But also, I think it's just a testament to how inflamed our guts are, and a lot of the food that we're putting into it is causing this endotoxin reaction at the gut level, and we experience that in our brain. There's a strong gut-brain connection, and when that inflammation starts to show up, we get that brain fog. And so we don't realize what we're kind of cutting through every day until we take it away and begin to understand maybe what our digestive tract actually wants.
Inflammation, it's a killer, man. I mean, so there was something called an ALCAT test. Have you ever heard of that? So an ALCAT test, I think they took like 500 of the most common food samplings, put it towards your blood in an organic environment, come back and say, here's what's going to cause you inflammation. Mine was sage, carrots, and cow's milk. Those 3 things.
What was the third one?
Cows, like dairy.
Oh, dairy.
It didn't say, no, because goat's fine.
Right,
but
you're right.
Which was just interesting altogether because you wouldn't think carrots. That was good. Carrots are great for you. Why would they?
Do you know? I'm going to be honest. I had my brother-in-law when I was working with him. He had a test like that too, and eggs came back as inflammatory. And at the end of the day, I was like, Flavio, do you feel awful on eggs? He's like, no, I feel great.
Sure.
And I'm like,
there
is an element of that as well. You can probably speak to that more.
Yeah.
So how does your body recognize that something that's going to cause it inflammation, and why does it try and reject it? Because that's where autoimmune disorders come into play as well.
Totally.
And actually, I went through a phase of alopecia to where my body started just attacking follicles in my hair, and that's where it is. But those are types of things that you love to address.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too, right?
You're speaking my love language now. Let's get into it. I mean, I think that goes to the ecology of the gut, and now we're talking about that, balance of bacteria and yeast that are supposed to be in our digestive tract, and then the less beneficial, and then the true pathogenic gut bacteria. So I think that a lot of times on these ALCAT tests or other food sensitivity panels where you see an immune response to something that should be healthy, like you're saying carrots, why is my immune system seeing that as an invader? That's a sign to me that the gut has been so offended, that barrier has become so inflamed that maybe those proteins aren't being properly degraded before they cross through, which we call leaky gut sometimes. So now your body latches onto that protein and says this is a foreign invader because it wasn't properly metabolized, and or it's just a sign that you don't have the right gut bacteria to properly degrade it initially. So I think it all comes back to the flora of our gut, which is back to farming too. It's the flora of our soils. It's all about the bugs.
Gosh. Okay, this is cool. We do have to take a break here in just a second. I love having you around. I don't know how you are on time, but just stick around. So again, peeling back the layer of the onion. That's why a place like Nurture, a Wellcare Marketplace, is so important, because I'd say start with the blood tests, start with the blood work before you jump into cleanses and figure it out, and then figure out, where are you with? Because you'll be able to identify those types of things. If you have a thyroid condition, your hormonal panel
100%.
would go through the types of things that you would look for from somebody initially when they come in and say, okay, I want to get blood work done. Where do I start?
Yeah.
Where do you start?
I would start with those baselines. Like you said, we want to just be sure you are strong enough and you have the right framework to then undergo something like this.
Yes.
So is your endocrine system operating at par, which is thyroid, adrenals, and our reproductive organs, all connected back to the hypothalamus.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my first check-in. But then markers for inflammation, markers for basic nutrients like your B12 and vitamin D. We want to be sure those are up to par, and then probably your cholesterol as well. And I love to check cholesterol more as a marker of stress, because I think that when those lousy cholesterol numbers are elevated and triglycerides are elevated, that tells me stress is a big component to your metabolic picture right now, and we need to balance that out before we maybe throw you into the deep end, because you might just feel more crummy and not get as much of the benefit out
And
of it.
as we touched on autoimmune just a little bit, and you think about what the past year of your life just taught you about how important your immune system is to you. Just think about that. So addressing these types of things, and again, I go back to peeling back the onion or unraveling that ball of yarn. Those types of conditions, it can get when you're grasping for words and you're trying to struggle to clarity and
Brain
you're
fog.
it can get very, I don't know, depressing, I guess is the thing, is where you don't know where to. It's like I did a cleanse and nothing's working. Okay, I went and did this, and this has to be in synchronicity. It's an orchestra. It's your body. It's your life. And it's your responsibility to dig in and learn about yourself, because everybody's unique in that same sense. Okay, time out. We'll take a break. That's a lot to take in. I know you're going to want to rewind this. I told you owed us money after this. You can't buy this anywhere. It's
No,
good
this is
stuff.
like free consultation with Rachelle. I'm like, girl, my cholesterol is probably through the roof. That's probably what you want to tell me. You're probably like, well,
And maybe
by
we'll
the
do that
way.
sometime. I mean, maybe I'll do a blood panel
Yeah,
with
we
you, and we'll
can
dig
walk
into
through
it
it
together.
if you're
And
willing to
I am willing
put it
to
out
do
there.
that. Absolutely,
It'd be very fun.
I think it's helpful to other people. Okay, Nurture, a Wellcare Marketplace. Lots of activity going on behind it. I mean, this is
Full
a
house.
place where you want to go, and not to mention that there's beautiful. It's like chicken or the egg. Are these beautiful people because they're beautiful people, or because they're practicing these types of things? I'd have to surmise that when you're active with your life, you're going to be beautiful all the way around, and we are all beautiful. So take that initiative and look into yourself. We'll be back. We've got more to cover. This cleanse is great. You've got it on your website?
Yes, it is on the Nurture website. Just go to Nurture's Cleanse. It is available year-round. We are doing a big, massive push to start Monday, March 1st, because it's so much more fun to do it with lots of people.
That's right.
And you can talk about it and bitch about it together.
And then while you're on the website, look up Dr. Rachelle, because Dr. Forsberg is going to take that blood work and work you through some certain things in life. Okay, going to take a break, come right back. The Modern Eater Show continues.
Hi, I'm Amber with Strohauer Farms, and I'm just here to remind you that the best potatoes are grown here in Colorado. Goodness elevated. Thanks for watching the Modern Eater Show.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best. So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
Hey Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great things we've got going on locally in the state. We're headquartered right here, and we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring you amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by farmers in Colorado and surrounding states who are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries or pearl barley, those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Nations from Aspen Baking Company. It's really important right now to support local. That's why I support the Modern Eater. Now, back to the show.
I think they're in Snarfs now. Aspen Baking.
I think I have charcoal probably all over my face.
Back to the show in just a second, you guys. But before that, I want to talk to you about something near and dear to my heart. And the cleanse is going to be near and dear to my heart on the 1st. But right now, it's Aspen Baking Company. AspenBaking.com is where you go to find the freshest bread in the world. I'm telling you, if you love bread like I do, this is where you go to get it. They don't put any of the chemicals. They don't put the artificial coloring. They don't freeze it. Do you know that some bakeries freeze your bread? Don't get frozen bread. Go to AspenBaking.com. Get the freshest bread in the city. And since 1994, they've been doing it. And they've been doing it, and doing it well. AspenBaking.com. That's a little bit of LL Cool J for you, Greg. AspenBaking.com. And now back to Greg and the show live at Nurture, a Wellcare Marketplace.
Cool. Thanks, Jay, for that. Again, that's Aspen Baking Company and a new account at Snarfs. So if you're at Snarfs getting a sandwich, you know you got the best of the best. And that's one thing I love about them. It's not those added ingredients. And
We have Melissa as well, I just want to say.
Melissa. Okay. Melissa coming
We
on
have an
over.
extra mic.
Hi, Melissa.
She's standing close to me.
We have a, watch this, Jay on the spot.
Look at that. This is
Look at
another favorite practitioner of mine. This is my team.
Cool. Talk about this young lady.
I'm going to let her.
Hi. Welcome.
This
Good
is
to see you.
Melissa
Grab this
of Moss
microphone.
North Therapy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on?
Hold it right up to you when you talk.
We're talking about detoxing and the cleanse and other practitioners, you guys, who can support who can flush out the process of the cleanse and detox. And Rachelle was talking about it on a cellular level. And I personally the easiest way for me to tell if my body is if this is having an effect is a scale. But Rachelle can do panels and look at biomarkers and things like that. And then we were talking, I would love for you to share about massage and the work that you do too, and how that can also help facilitate the body's shedding.
Yeah. Rachelle, introduce yourself.
Yes.
Say what you
Melissa.
do.
So my name is Melissa.
Oh, Melissa.
Yeah, to Rachelle.
My name is Melissa Haile, and I am a licensed massage therapist, Asian bodywork practitioner, owner of Moss North Therapy.
Fellow New Yorker.
A New Yorker. Born, raised. So, yes, with detoxing, a lot of the times with the muscles, we're holding a lot of lactic acid buildup. And so when we're opening up trigger points, these are areas that are not getting blood flow and not getting circulation. And so detoxing is helping to facilitate the movement of circulation, to move the lymph, to be able to drain that, and to be able to help, as a massage therapist, to be able to release that a little.
Well, at that point, you can initiate cellular repair.
Yes, thank you. Initiate cellular repair.
No sweat. We're all in this together.
Yes.
And that's very important. So, I mean, if you think about what she just said to you, if you're going through all of this, your body is saying, okay, I'm cleansing, I'm detoxing. Where is it pushing it to? It's
Right.
pushing it to your
Lymph, and to move that out.
Absolutely.
Right.
So as your tissues and your muscles retain those types of things, you're the expert in being able to release those.
Yes.
And then get that flushed out of your system.
Yes.
Which flushing it out, you've got to flush your system, right?
Which is where we're drinking water after a massage.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
important.
And when you don't do that, you feel it.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Doctor, when that's in your
Yes.
system and not getting flushed
Right.
out, it's wreaking havoc.
Yeah, well, it's recirculating into your bloodstream, so you're just retoxifying yourself, which is kind of like the same idea with the charcoal, right? Like anytime we start pushing things with massage or a targeted detox, we're asking the liver to actually go find toxins, identify them, and secrete them out through the gut or the urine or the sweat. And if we don't finish that job with drinking the water or binding with charcoal, then it just sits in the
Floats.
gut and it goes right back into the bloodstream, and then we feel worse.
Right.
Much worse.
Which is really happening to people, in
Yeah.
a day-to-day living situation, and people don't realize that they experience it as a grumpy mood or brain fog or, the inefficiency in even just physical activity. And it actually just comes down to there could just be toxins that are not moving out of your body.
Right.
And so the amazing thing with Melissa's work as well too is that you are getting that out of the tissue and you're getting it out of the muscle, and so that it can be your full body gets the release of all the toxins. And also Melissa does an amazing thing too, where she's not just a massage therapist, she'll do like an AMA intake. So she's also, you do if you want to speak to that more too, you do a full intake. Because I got cool.
This is new to me,
I got
so I'd
like
love
a
to hear
mecca
about it.
experience. Melissa, first of all, you can't teach what she has, but also there's a reason why she's a religious, activity for me every month. You are my self-care, both of these women are, because I experience something completely different with her massage than other practitioners that I've had. So if you want to speak to the full intake that you do as well, because I think that's special.
Thank you. And it's such an honor. And the work that I do, I study a form of AMA. And so AMA therapy it's a Korean lineage-based massage that came down centuries, passed down to to family in Korea. And my teacher, Tina Son, who founded AMA therapy, she was actually an acupuncturist. And so she based a massage that was based on the meridians, that was based on acupressure points, and working with how our body is all related. It's not just, we're not just muscles. Everything is really related. So when I sit down with each client, I'm doing a thorough intake. Like the first session is usually going to take a half an hour. And to be able to look at their tongue, look at their pulse, do different assessments, figure out what channels need to be tonified.
Oh my God, I'm intrigued and terrified all in the same.
It's
She
so
can peer
good.
into your soul.
Exactly. She's like,
Not under the toe.
you're still holding that since you were 5, and somebody told you were
How
not good enough.
absolutely fascinating is that? That's amazing. So continue. I'm sorry to interrupt.
And I do have fun with that also, using. I use Swarovski crystals and play,
you
therapy.
walk out of there like fashionista. Like you go to her too because you get this bling on the ear.
Ear
She'll,
bling.
like pressure points, and they're like these little crystals, and they stay on me
I
for like
love
weeks,
it.
which is probably not a good sign because she's like they'll stay on you as long as they need to, and mine just
love
don't
you.
come off because they're probably like, oh girl.
Now, I'm somebody who charges my crystals on my balcony during the moon, and then I sleep with them under my pillow, so I'm a really weird person.
Love that. It's great.
Because I draw energy. I give a lot. I'm a radio tower, just like we all are. You're bringing in wavelengths and releasing them as well. So everything you're talking about, I'm all about, and I'm a sponge for knowledge. So I want to learn a lot more about what you do, and obviously partake in your services as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
gosh
Great.
almighty, how can we get more information about you?
So by visiting my website,
Okay.
mossnorththerapy.com.
Spell it.
MOSS
Okay.
North, as in the direction.
Got it.
Therapy.com.
Moss North Therapy.com.
Very good.
Perfect and easy.
Thank you.
And I'll remember that forever, actually. I do word association. Just helps me remember things. Melissa, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. mossnorththerapy.com. Go check that out. What else would you like to leave us with here as we're moving fast, but we're getting into this cleanse? Are you doing this cleanse as well?
I'm definitely, yes, I will be.
Okay.
I will be doing that. And I definitely recommend everyone that right now we're about to get into spring, right?
Yeah.
So that's the
Spring
time.
cleaning.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Your body changes with seasons as well. I'm a firm believer in that. So I say start with the doctor, get the blood work, get into the cleanse, and then go get this knocked out of your body once you're cleansing yourself.
Yeah, well, both of them
Plan.
also are very helpful to have while you're cleansing too. If you're in the area, because you can get a massage while you're cleansing. Obviously, see Rachelle before and after, and Dr. Rachelle does acupuncture as well. So
Is that right? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's just a great support. You just get more
Can I live here?
Well,
This place is
okay.
just so
I
awesome.
practically do live here, so.
Stick around. We're just we're
It's
just
not
having a
bad
nerdy
home.
conversation. If you want to stick around for that, what were a couple of things that I wanted to cover with you when we went
We
into
were
that?
talking about maybe advanced testing that
Yes.
you could look into as one thing.
Uh-huh.
So in addition to your basic panels that we already touched on, some people want to get even more nerdy and really get some pre
Dial
and
in.
post markers. So you might look at markers for oxidative stress, your antioxidant status. So many of you might know glutathione as one of our biggest endogenous antioxidants, but you can actually test your glutathione levels so you know going into it what's my antioxidant status. Your markers for just general toxic burden, mitochondrial health, which we haven't even really touched on yet, but a lot of our detoxing is going to support our mitochondria as well, so you can check in on those to begin with. And then some people want a more comprehensive micronutrient assessment where we're looking intracellular. So a lot of basic labs are looking at what's free floating in the blood, but we want to know what's getting into your cell. So maybe pre and post you want to take a look at what's my B vitamin status, my amino acids, my fatty acids. So we might do something like
The
that.
terminology changes so often, and I don't even want to insult because it could have changed already. Concierge medicine, a la carte medicine, what would you call it?
Yeah, well, concierge medicine is generally a setup where it's more of a membership model, where you're saying, I'm signed up and I want to be in your program. The way it works in mine is just pay for service, so cash pay.
I love it. And really, honestly, the amount of money that you spend and with your primary care doctor, I'm not telling you go away from your primary care doctor, but you know just as well as I do, what is it? Okay, Mr. Hollenbach, you're ready to go sit in this room. I see the doctor for 30 seconds. He comes back with my blood work, and what does he do? He writes something on a pad and prescription, sends me out the door.
Oh my God, I was with Rachelle for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I was like,
So therein lies the rub, right?
Yeah.
You're very close to your
Right.
patient.
It's a privilege. Yeah, I get to spend a lot of time with my patients. My patient load is smaller for that reason because I want to remember you or remember your story. And as I'm learning and researching, my patients are always top of mind and thinking of new things I can share with them. But yeah, first visit is usually 2 hours long, and then follow-up visits are an hour long so that we always have time.
So when you talk about preventive and reactive medicine, I mean, seriously, preventive, because right now it's like the food that you eat, right? And that's something I want to get into,
Yes.
talking about the food and then responsibilities that I think that chefs have. But when you are doing that preventive medicine, you're spending that money in that a la carte fashion, pay to play. You're saving yourself a lot of money. Don't spend all your money at the end of your life trying to keep yourself alive from the reactionary medicine that's going on. Do it up front.
well, that's what we were talking about with this cleanse too, because a lot of I know that juice cleanses, at least I moved here from Los Angeles, get a bad rap because they're very expensive. But you have to think about you're paying for a meal and you're also paying for capsules of vitamins. You're paying for probiotics. You're paying for all of these things that are in one thing, and it's an investment in yourself and in your life and your happiness.
Agreed.
If you're having a hard time making decisions or you're not really satisfied with the way your life has been, or you just want an improvement in general, food is communication within your body. It's going to tell your cells what to do. It's going to give yours, it's whether you're making quality cells or not. And so the beauty of a cleanse too is that you can give your digestive system a rest. Hopefully most of the old cellular cells will die off and
You guys
create
want
apoptosis faster, and then you get new ones.
Let's take a time out and talk about food.
Yeah.
I think that's great because one of the things is a really awesome accoutrement right here at Nurture, a Wellcare Marketplace, is once you figure out all these things about yourself, then you come down here and visit Elizabeth at Nest, and you say, hey, here's all the things I know about myself through my blood, and how can I make a diet that's going to be conducive to supporting what the doctor has said to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
when
I mean,
back.
if Rachelle was like, there's sugar as
What you got, Jay?
We can bring you right down.
We want to balance that out.
I mean,
Question from the stream, you guys, and
Yes.
maybe you can field that when we get back.
And you're
to
good.
Yep. Got a question from the stream. What's the question?
Is how does it affect seniors? This cleanse. If there's a difference,
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That
Happy
is a
to
really
address
good
that
question.
when we
That's
come
a really
back.
good question. I think it has to do. Apologies
Hang
to
on.
our blenders. We're
That's called
building
a
roads.
tease. Teaser.
Oh, it's a teaser.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll answer
Okay.
that. We'll do more.
I'm ready to go. Who wants to know what?
Elizabeth Woodard. We've got the doctor here with us as well. Dr. Rachelle Forsberg. And then
Building
Melissa.
roads
Melissa,
back.
is your last name Moss?
Haile.
Yeah, what is it?
Haile.
Haile. Okay.
Haile.
Greg Hollenbeck, Jay Parker will be back right here. The Modern Eater Show continues.
Hey, you guys, Jay here with the Modern Eater Show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about our YouTube and Instagram channels. A lot of killer content over there. Throw us a subscribe on YouTube. Throw us a follow on Instagram. And thank you for supporting TME. We couldn't do this without our amazing sponsors, so let's check them out right now.
Very proud to be part of the Modern Eater, and chefs, restaurant owners, any food service operators. You know, I know right now that delivery and carry out is bigger than ever, and we got you covered. Cambro has a full line of delivery and carry out items. More economical options are expanded polypropylene or EPP, nice insulated container. The ProCard Ultra is really versatile. It's a great unit because you can actually store cold products down here, hot products up here. It's all 120. There's no refrigeration worries. It's all thermodynamics. Just let us know what your food service challenges are, what it is we can do to help you out, and there isn't anything that we can't do for you. So hope to see you over here at our facility in Park Hill soon, and stay safe out there.
You know, everybody, with several $1 million of hard assets here, insurance is very, very important to us. Ewing Leavitt covers it all. Machinery, building, workman's comp. Ewing Leavitt's got us covered from the floor to the ceiling, from our alley even to the street. This divider, this press, my cooling conveyor, my oven. Ow, ow. Ewing Leavitt covers our counter stacker and our employees too. If you need insurance, take it from Little Rich at Rockalitas. Call Ewing Leavitt, they'll get you covered.
I go home, I strip down to my skivvies. All right, here we go. I got it. Hey everybody, Steve Gould from Golden Moon Distillery and Golden Moon Speakeasy. When I get my cocktails to go from Golden Moon Speakeasy, I go home, I kick back, and I watch The Modern Eater. Skivvies. Hey, I'm a Marine. It's skivvies, man.
All right, welcome back to a Friday. It is the 26th, and we're running just February's out of steam. We're going into March, the Ides of March, and we're going to start this cleanse here, and we'll be back to this wealth of information from these ladies here as Dr. Amy Osborne joins us right here at Nurture. I got to tell you about, we're making culinary cool again with the kids, man. Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start, and that's what you want to do, whether you're interested in a career or you just want to knock the rust off. It's Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start. We brought them into our kitchen, so Monday through Thursday, it's a gimme. It's free to you, and you get some certification. That's the Serve Safe certification, and you need that. So with our partners that are aligning with us, the floodgates are opening back in, and people need help in the kitchen. You need a leg up. That's where Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start comes in, and the Modern Eater. These classes are cool. They're all online right now, but you get a couple people can come into the kitchen. It's all hands-on training, and it's what you need to get back into the kitchen. There's a sign-up on themoderneater.com. Just go across the tab. It says Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start. Shows you how to sign up from there. We'd love to have you. Thank you, Emily Griffith Culinary Quick Start. Back to you guys. All right, Dr. Amy Osborne.
Hi.
Thank you and welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having
All
me.
right, well, I should welcome me because I'm in you guys' natural habitat.
Yeah, welcome in.
Yes.
Like,
It's so cool.
Got really loud.
So we did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we're talking about cleanses and blood work and other practitioners. I geeked out on a conversation that you and Elizabeth had once on Instagram. You guys do Instagram talks when you're feeling it, right?
Yeah, we do. I think the one you're talking about is the one that we did with Nurture, but Amy and I do a talk. We were doing it every other Sunday, then we had a little bit of a gap.
We're talking about inflammation and adrenal burnout.
That was the one that you saw with Nurture.
Yeah.
Could you talk about adrenal burnout here just for a couple of minutes?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I could talk about it for a long time, but I mean, I think that the thing that everybody forgets is that all of our hormones are interrelated, and so if we have dysfunction in our adrenal system, there's going to be stuff all the way down the line. And I think that this is especially true with right now. Obviously, there's a lot of stress, but I also think that a lot of people over-exercise, and that leads to a lot of adrenal issues. At least clinically in my practice, I see so many people that are dealing with things that are really persistent, and more often than not, if we really get down to basics, how are you sleeping? how are you managing stress, and how are you exercising? Because that's where we see a lot of our adrenal issues and poor blood sugar regulation, right? So insulin and adrenals are really, really interrelated.
How do you identify that?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you also explained it very well to me because, technically our adrenals don't really burn out. We have enough adrenaline to last us like 200 years. You explained it more as like our adrenals are actually hyper stressed rather than burnt out.
Sure. And I mean, I think that we can be overactive adrenal-wise. Like when I really think about, when I'm breaking it down to patients, right, we talk about we're either in our sympathetic nervous system state, and that's the fight or flight or flee, or we're in parasympathetic, and we should really be in that parasympathetic place 90% of the time. And think about, like, that part of our brain isn't conscious, right? So we're thinking, it's a survival mechanism. You're not critically evaluating, like, oh, is this deadline that I have going to kill me? No, your brain is perceiving that as a life-threatening event. So imagine like living your life with a gun held to your head. I mean, quite literally.
Every day I'm there.
Yeah, right? I mean, you just can't sustain
so much
that.
Stuff on my mind.
That's exactly how I feel internally. Is literally. Like,
so how do you deal? How do you manage?
I think that the first thing that we can do
and how do you identify it? Is there a blood work you can do?
I mean, you can definitely do blood work, and I'm sure that Dr. Forsberg can talk a lot about that. A blood
and once
work.
Identified, where do you go from there?
Once identified, I think that I really like to look at lifestyle things. So something as simple as, okay, let's not do crazy intense workouts right now. Like, let's not get our heart rate so high. Let's not run sprints. And let's also peel the sugar and caffeine out of our diet. So sugar, we know, is super interrelated with the adrenals in so much that cortisol gets released when we're in that stressful state. What does cortisol do? It wants to mobilize blood sugar because we need to have that blood sugar to be able to fight off that lion or run away from the guy that's holding the gun to our head. And
or the girl.
Holding the gun to my head. That's going to lead to like chronically elevated blood sugar, right? And so when we're eating a lot of sugar, that's just perpetuating that system. So those are two things. And then the third is deep breathing. So our diaphragm is...
I'm literally like...
I know, right? We all like breathe
Yeah.
through our chest, but if we can actually override that and breathe diaphragmatically and let our diaphragm move, that taps into the parasympathetic state. Because think about it, you're not going to belly breathe if somebody has a gun to your head. I know I keep going back to that, but I mean, it's really not, it's not a gray scale. It's like it's black or white. You're in parasympathetic or you're in sympathetic, and that's that. So those are my top three tips: sugar, exercise, and breathe.
And it's a shame because now you have devices like this will tell you, get your ass up, breathe, too. Just reminding you of things that you should probably already take on yourself, but very, very important.
Yeah. Little breath hacks, too, for like the limbic system is if you focus on your inhale being like the most
intense. Can we breathe together right now?
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's breathe. Okay, so what's the proper... You're centering yourself.
That's what you want, which is what I'm saying. If you really want to like pick up your energy and like focus more, then you really want to focus in on your inhale. If you want to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system and relax, you need to focus on in the exhale. That's why for a lot of meditations they'll go breathe in for 4 and then breathe out for 8, focusing on the exhale is longer to bring you into the parasympathetic. But if you're like, I need that cup of coffee at 3 o'clock because I need a lot of energy, if you actually deep breathe but focus in on your inhale being the strongest one, it'll pick up your energy and your focus. It's like what points the limbic system.
New product out, guys. You probably love this. You're signed up already. Coca-Cola coffee.
Oh, brother.
You ready for that one?
I think they are the same. Both are crack.
Are you really saying it's just skip that cup of coffee in the afternoon and breathe?
I know it's really hard, because people,
or is it?
It's also like, well, in a sense where like, coffee and we create patterns that are our rituals. And if we don't have them, your brain is attached to it and you're not complete unless you have this cup of coffee, which is what it represents for people. And I am not demonizing coffee. I personally have not had coffee for 14 months, but I'm still not I know, I would have thought. But I'm not demonizing it. I'm saying, why are you having that cup? It's the intention behind it. If you are grasping for that cup of coffee, you want to do like what both of these ladies are good at, or is getting to the root cause of like again, this is why cleanse is so good, as I keep talking about, like, who is driving this car? Is it the caffeine driving my decisions and my cravings? Is it the stress in my life? Is it the overworking out? Is it the unbalanced diet? And when you take all of the usual contenders out with just a light cleanse, your body can reset itself, and you can see what are the things that are actually driving your decisions. Like, who's behind the wheel? The caffeine, the stress, the sugar? You don't know.
Yeah.
And then your life goes by, and then
So great conversation here today. If you're just tuning now, I would just, when the show's over, rewind and just take it all in once again.
I talk fast.
And while we have Dr. Osborne here with us as well, you guys mind if we talk about food? Because we're deconstructing right now. We're going to talk about some food, and then I want to talk about reconstructing. We did have a question from the stream. This cleanse for, what was the question, Jay? For seniors. Is it okay? Does it change? Do you need anything?
I think I would say the same as before. It's still good to check in with a doctor first and get some pre-lab work done, especially if you have any pre-existing conditions that might set you up for, this burdening your body, and just check in with your doctor and be, practical and realistic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a culinary or restaurant promoter that we are, it's very difficult because food is so complicated these days. It is very complicated, and I'm a reflection of that. I think it's a responsibility because food is medicine, right? I mean, let's face it. And I thought one thing in my head said, pharma chefs, the responsibility that you have through the food that you're dealing to people, right, and being so complicated, we're deconstructing right now. I would love to see chefs really on your menu deconstruct some of these things so it's not so complicated and let people add to it as they want to. Now, that's just a dream to have that. But some people may get on board with those low inflammation diets as they work with maybe nurture, that type of thing. But truly, once you've deconstructed and you've got that baseline once again, how do you start to identify what you want to add back into your body and go, that's not making me feel good, but now I can see because I've isolated it? Does anybody want to jump in on any of those points right there of just starting to reconstruct your diet once it's at the baseline?
Well, from a Chinese medicine perspective, kind of to Beth's point about when we introduced fire into our culture and started pre-digesting our food, we talk a lot about cooked over raw, and so that can be one thing to think about. If your gut has been, a little bit decompensated, then cooking your food initially and really having that pre-digested, very bioavailable nutrients could be a good starting place after you've kind of set this beautiful new canvas for your gut to now absorb all the nutrients you want to put down. So that could be one starting place.
Everybody has a nuance now. Like, I'm gluten-free, or I'm and for a reason, right? It's their body's reacting to it in an adverse way, right? So how do you really truly find out? It's like, okay, I have a gluten intolerance, or I should not be having dairy, or I can tell those adverse effects of that. That's how can you tell if you're just in that muck and the mire all the time, inundating yourself with foods that may not agree with you? Where do you begin?
I mean, definitely, I would say, you need to take it out for a while. You need to give your body a rest so you can see what's playing, which is why the cleanse is really good. But Amy and I also talked about it's really, on one of our talks, it's really hard to see if you are gluten intolerant or dairy intolerant, because are you intolerant to gluten or all the preservatives and all the sprays and the herbicides on all of the crops that are grown and on the gluten? Is it the dairy or is it the antibiotics and the hormones that are going into the milk? And it's really hard to tell unless you're in Europe.
Food is so confusing.
But it's like, unless you're in Europe and
the grains are
and you have the pure actual dairy, or a local farmer that has the pure dairy. But also coming back to what Rachelle was talking about with, like, for instance, your nutrient panel, so that carrots caused a disbalance or an allergic reaction. Sometimes if you take something out of your diet so long, you don't have the bacteria that's proper to break it down. And so it can be retraining. Like, for instance, I haven't had dairy for a long time, but I grew up on it. If I brought it back in right now, I don't know if I have the bacteria that knows how to break that down. If I felt like it was good for me for some reason, and I slowly introduced it into my diet in small dosages, I would then hopefully develop the bacteria that could break it down. But then there are just some things that are just toxic, like the pesticides and herbicides that were developed in wartime. Like they were developed for warfare, and it's now on our food.
Yeah,
like
that's conventional though. So
Right.
leave that alone.
Right, exactly.
Like that's,
exactly.
That's the normal.
Exactly.
Well, and I think that it's really important to keep in mind that you can develop sensitivities to foods that are really healthy. Like I had really terrible sensitivity to tomatoes, regardless of where they came from. And that was a result of my own intestinal, like I had increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut. And what happens then, right, is that if food is not properly digested, it can enter the bloodstream, and then your body can start to identify it, mark it as a pathogen, and attack it. And so then when we get those antigens, you eat something that's really healthy, like tomatoes, and every time you eat it, it was like, I mean, I had nothing in my diet that should be inflammatory, but yet I was getting really bad eczema. And it wouldn't show up. And I mean, it would typically be like 3 days after I ate tomatoes. But I also ate tomatoes really regularly, so I was continuing to present that to my body, and that sensitivity just continued. So making sure that the actual integrity of your gut lining is good is really important. So I always say, like, yeah, let's cut everything out and then slowly reintroduce once that healing is there.
Absolutely. Introducing enzymes into your body as well. I mean, enzymes as you go along in your life, you're just drawing from it like a bank. If it was cash, you're taking cash out and you're never putting it back in. And a lot of times with enzymes, because if you cook it or if you freeze it, you're killing those enzymes. You want to eat it in its rawest form, right? So as people, this is where you get that dull stare of the dairy cow when we start talking. And this is where people just drop off, and it's too confusing for them.
I mean, to simplify it, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go.
I'm a major interrupter. I have a lot of siblings. But to simplify it for everybody, if you do a cleanse or if you want to know what's going on, just start eating real food.
Yeah.
Just real food.
Real food.
I mean, just start there. Whether you're gluten-free, grain-free, paleo, keto, it doesn't matter. The ingredients just need to be real and clean. And then figure out where your body thrives. It's trial and error. You're alive, hopefully, for a long time. You've got time to trial and error. But just keep all of the ingredients clean. And then you can know what your body works well with.
And nature's really not going to lead you down the wrong path, right? And you eat a lot of raw foods and that type of thing. And just, again, deconstructing and then building back up. But, trust in those things and least preservatives as possible. One thing that I think is really interesting on that inflammation level is now talking about certain temperatures that you should cook at. Is there anything to that to where you don't want to grill something because you're going to have that delicious inflammation on there, which is the burnt stuff or those types of things. Putting that into your body, has anybody else heard of this, that cook at lower temperatures to be able to decrease that inflammation in your body?
Yeah, I mean, I bet Beth can speak more to it, but for sure with oils, we talk about that a lot. Definitely being conscious of not wanting to convert your fats and have them in a more pro-inflammatory state. And then, of course, the barbecuing. We don't want all that carcinogenic.
All the shit I love.
Yeah.
So good. Why is it
I know.
so good?
You've got an appointment here soon, but I did want to end this segment with you talking about what you do and how people can contact you as well.
Great. Yeah. I am a physical therapist, like you mentioned. I also incorporate functional nutrition into all of that. So I try to take a really integrative approach. I tend to see a lot of things that are driven by hormonal imbalance. So I see a lot of endometriosis, PCOS for women, pregnancy, postpartum issues, but then chronic issues, like something you've had for a long time, it's not getting any better. I'm the person that's going to take a little bit more integrative approach. And then I teach fitness classes here. So movement, functional movement that is good for your body, isn't going to break things down, and functional nutrition. Those are my two things.
I am religious about her abs and ass class because I've been trying to get a strong ab. I'm like, who doesn't want abs? And this girl is the only person every single time that targets the exact muscles, specifically the lower ones that you want, every single time. And so it's just amazing working with a physical therapist in a workout class because she can literally help you engage the muscles that you want to engage. So you're not working out your lower back when you're just trying to get abs, which is what I found in most physical or fitness classes.
Yeah. So isolation, multimuscular movements
that
will help you out with those things, and then actually putting your brain in that area of your body and being able to focus on that particular place. I love those isolation types of things. That's really, come be a sponge like me. I'm a little kid. It's like, I want to learn as much as I can from you guys. And there's so much knowledge just in this one little condensed area. And this goes on and on and on with practitioners in here. Pleasure having you here.
Thanks so much.
Well, I also wanted to say before she went too, just real quick, and then you can skedaddle. There's a misconception that I actually had too, that when you're on a cleanse that you can't work out. And I find the opposite is that I was doing Amy's classes while I was on the 7-day cleanse. And obviously I was holding back a little bit because I didn't want to test my energy levels. But to keep the blood flow, to keep the breath work going, like just saying if you do this cleanse with us and you're in the area, join Amy's class, or you can still work out is what I found.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as long as you're not getting into an anaerobic training zone, meaning you're like losing your breath, we want to stay really aerobic because that's just physiologically easier on our body. We're not going to, this is not the time to like do your killer hit workout. It's not the time to do a really, really long distance tempo run. Not the time to like max out your deadlift. But like moving is really great because we do know that while exercise like is active sweating, and that's different than passive sweating, which is a way to kind of detoxify, you still are going to be breathing hard and breathing things off. Like respiration is a way by which our body gets rid of things that it doesn't want in it.
Yeah.
So exercise is great for that. So that's why like a hard workout feels good after a hangover.
That was one thing I wanted to actually, booze, alcohol, you guys. Where's that land in your, is that a luxury item, or you shouldn't, or just stay away, or it's great for you?
That's so good. I'm 3 months sober right now. Just
3 months?
I take the first 3 months. Last year it was 6 months.
What would make you want to go back after 3 months of reflection? Think that's it.
You know what? I particularly love the taste. I love the art, the dedication. What do I want to say? The artistry that goes in behind, like a really good wine, a really good scotch, a really good mezcal. There's a story behind there. There's an experience. It's
Okay,
also
I'm with
like,
you on that.
yeah.
But Jay,
at the
he
same
put
time,
it down for a couple months, and now it's 4 years later.
And
But that was
I can
court
totally
ordered.
see that because, like, I mean, like, even just for, like, vanity purposes, people are like, your skin looks amazing. I'm like, well, we'll keep this going for another 4 months. You know, and also, again, it's people don't realize that, 30-day cleanse is really great, but once you get to the 60 to the 90, I can reflect on my life and see all of these really wonky and poor decisions and anxiety and almost paranoia that I felt that was literally being triggered by ethanol. That just, if it stays in your system and it's a constant long enough, again, like I said, your cells are now being programmed and formed from that type of communication. And so it takes a long time for alcohol to actually leave your system, not in the actual, that it's actually leaving your system, but the effects. And for your body to
I think in your head, you guys, I can just feel it. Everything's moderation.
Yes.
Right? I mean, your body's a resilient thing. You can beat the hell out of it, and you don't want to, but it's resilient in that sense. So if there's something that you enjoy or you want to partake in that,
Yeah. And if you've got a goal of detoxifying, like let's just not add toxins in during that time, right? I mean, it's all about, think about a bucket. Your liver has to filter a bucket of crap out all the time. And if your bucket is only this full, it's going to have room for a little bit. But if your bucket is full,
it overflows.
Yeah, it overflows, and it can't keep up, and then you build up toxicity.
Gosh, you're so calm. You guys' demeanors are just fantastic. Do you ever get mad? Do you ever get angry? When
Beth never. Yeah, no. I mean, Beth knows that I never get mad.
Ever.
At all.
Ever. We have our locker room chats every Tuesday
morning.
You get those things out too, but really just that baseline is what you can get here. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Dr. Amy Osborne. Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's Dr. Amy Osborne, AMYOSBORNE.com.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Someone didn't have that. You have it.
The one and only, I guess.
Dr. Amy Osborne 1.
Yeah, I know.
You're like 537.
Get a hold of her. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
Amy.
you bet. Thanks. I'll take that off your hands. Okay.
Bye, lovely.
Bye.
We are going to wrap it up here. I think we covered a lot of stuff here
I think
today.
it was really good. Yeah.
Rachelle,
again,
so much of your time.
it does get a little bit
fun.
complicated when you just go down, and again, we did cover a lot of stuff, but that's when you go to the experts. And the experts are happy to sit down with you. And really, if you're going to spend, I say it to my mom all the time, she, in that retirement age, and I was like, I would love for you to spend anything that you're going to spend on healthcare, like right now, just figuring out things that are going to make you feel good right now. They're going to make you feel happy and healthy. Don't spend it at the end of your life. to keep yourself alive. Keep yourself alive right now.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of people need to take that advice to say, you know what, yes, it may be $1 or $2 more in this area, but you're going to save it in the long run. I mean, you
100%.
truly are. Starting with things like this cleanse, and this is something I have no problem putting myself out there with things, because if there's one thing I know about myself, it's when things are wonky or sideways. And a lot of times in life, everything's perspective. So if you're looking at it straight on like this, turn your head sideways and look at it again, because it might come out a little bit differently. Elizabeth, you're always the best.
Oh my gosh, this is always so much fun. I can geek out on this all day
We'll
long.
be back Monday to pick up.
Yeah, we're going to all start
Yay.
together. We're going to film day 1. It's going to be great.
Doctor's going to take over my blood work, so I have
Yep.
some work to do with
Yeah.
you. We'll have more to report back on. I encourage you to do the same thing. It'll really pay off for you. I appreciate both of your time.
Thank you.
Such an
Absolutely.
honor.
Thank you. If anybody has any questions, please reach out to us at Nurture.
Yeah, absolutely. So for Elizabeth Woodard, Dr. Forsberg, Dr. Rachelle Forsberg, and Jay Parker, myself, Greg Hollenbach, have to thank everybody that was here with us today. We will take off now. We'll see you back Monday. We'll be back down here to pick up, so you'll be able to see that as well. And then on Wednesday, we will be down at Blake Street Tavern. We have a cool show for you as regulations start to loosen up a bit again. The Rockies just announced that they will have fans in person.
Wow.
You might be able to go to a Rockies game.
Crazy.
Wow.
Things are starting to get exciting again, and rightfully so. Everybody's been doing such a great job. So keep doing what you're doing. Wear your mask. Go out, support your restaurants. Be responsible. And number one thing, take care of yourself. We'll see you back here on Monday. I love the laugh.
You're ready.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Kyle Mendenhall. I'm talking with my good friends from the Modern Eaters Show. Keep supporting them. There's a lot of good stuff happening.
We started Meridium Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coop Vodka and Coop Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridiumspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coop by Meridium, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey guys, it's Caroline Glover. I'm the chef owner of Annette out at Stanley Marketplace. Citrus is about to be in its prime. I just want to thank everybody for showing so much support to small local restaurants in this really hard time. And you're watching the Modern Eater Show. I'm fine with that.